Hey y'all, it's your fashion writer friend Chelsea reporting for duty. Welcome back to our channel. Chris is not here with me today, but she's the one behind the camera. Hey hon. In today's video, we're gonna be reacting to summer 2023 fashion trends. I know you've been seeing them everywhere. Those rosette dresses, those mermaidcore pieces. Like, what the hell is even mermaidcore? If this is your first time hearing it, we're gonna get into it. Some of them are wild. Some of them make sense considering the overall nostalgia that we've been seeing since the pandemic, really. And so if this sounds good, like this video, subscribe to our channel where we discuss fashion trends, we review luxury products, occasionally hotels. Share it with a friend, share the wealth. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, mermaidcore. What the hell is even that? It's literally what it sounds like. Any and everything that makes you think of a mermaid or a sea creature. Why are we talking about it right now? It's because of the Little Mermaid movie adaptation. Obviously, you have a Black woman taking on a prominent role in a Disney movie. It's bound to influence what we wear. It's bound to influence culture. And so J. Crew actually dedicated an entire collection to the theme and invited us. Actually, we got to go to a party that was titled Under the Sea. So it's definitely here to stay, but I don't think it ever left, right? Like, I feel like it's one of those things where as fashion marketers, writers, and editors, like we all do it, we need a new word to express things that have always existed. And maybe this time around, it's in a new color or it's in new fabrics. And so boom, mermaidcore, which essentially consists of just pastel hues, bright blues and greens that remind you of the ocean, seashell motifs, pearls, crochet fabrics, you name it. And we actually saw a lot of brands just sort of go in that direction during the spring 2023 fashion week. We saw it at David Coma. We saw it even on the Schiaparelli Couture runway. We saw it at Gucci. There are obviously those high-end versions of it, but you also have the more affordable brands like J. Crew that did the Mermaidcore collection. You have Baobab, which I believe is a Colombian label that literally makes these silhouettes out of like swimwear inspired fabrics, and just putting them on makes you feel like you're going to some kind of seaside celebration, somebody's wedding, somebody's like mermaidcore theme party, you name it. So is mermaidcore a fad? Not necessarily, but I think next year it's just gonna find another name, probably like ocean core, because we're starting to run out of ways to call those. Next up, we have the rosette trend, which is one of my personal faves just because it's so feminine and delicate, which is exactly what the trend is supposed to convey. And so we first started noticing it on the Blue Marine runway, and Blue Marine is probably single-handedly making Y2K cool again. We also saw it on the first look of the Prabal Gurung, which on the rare occasions when the brand goes viral, it had a very viral dress. That dress was a hit. And so the origin of rosette is not new. While it's associated with the early 2000s, it actually has a very long history. I'm gonna read you all this quote from this fashion historian, Summer Ann Lee. As she told Refinery 29, fabric roses were sewn onto women's and men's shoes as decoration and a sign of high social and economic status. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, they became associated with women's fashion. So as we think of them, rosettes symbolize femininity, delicacy, and a sense of just youthfulness. And so brands like Saint Laurent from the fall 2022 collection had already adopted them to signify that sort of old society glamour. We also saw it on Carolina Herrera, which went a little less conservative, had a high slit dress with the rosettes again visible. So on the luxury side, we've had brands like Mara Hoffman, Caperni, Miguel Coronel, which I know you all have seen this viral rosette halter dress that's been going on. It's currently on pre-order because that's how much the girls have been buying it up. But on the more affordable side, Reformation said it wanted in, so it came up with this off-shoulder top. Also has this strapless two-piece set, which I'm definitely planning to wear when I go on vacation. Next up, deep pockets, or the return of cargo pants. This trend is really polarizing because some people say jeans don't need to have that many pockets, they don't need to be that big. And others say that they actually find freedom in the baggy legs, the long hems, and multiple pockets because, I don't know, you can put your cards in one, your kids in another, your keys in another, just to separate them. Personally, I'm in the middle. I like the idea of balancing proportions and, wearing cargo pants with a tank top and some heels. But I haven't quite found the one that works for me. Either case, cargo pants have a long history as utilitarian garments designed for the military. Similarly to trench coats, they have now been elevated to high fashion status by brands like Off-White, The Attico, and Diesel, which y'all know. I don't know if y'all know this, but Diesel has been seeing a comeback like no other brand. They are making denim cool again. And these brands have a higher price point, as you know, including The Only, which has a version that I tried for $700 something. Again, still too high. So on the lower end of the spectrum, you can shop at Goldie, you can check out AFRM, sorry to this brand, or Super Down. Next up, we have Alien Barbie, or should I say Alien Superstar. Either way, shout out to Kim K and Beyonce on this one. The brand that's credited for this look, regardless of your personal feelings for it, is Demna's Balenciaga. He's been on a redemption tour lately and TBD on whether or not his vision for it is working, but he created this sort of alien persona and made it acceptable to wear shield sunglasses or even these crazy heavy neoprene looks or scuba dresses that we saw Kim Kardashian wearing when she was still associating with the brand. Rick Owens has offered his own take, as well as Diesel, through experimentation with shiny, reflective, metallic fabrics that are kind of cool and interesting. Again, I can see these being more commercially acceptable and popular versions of the trend. And while the whole go off alien is not totally me, I would wear it though if it was one of those high fashion brands dressing me. But in general, I think the metallic dresses, the metallic tube tops, or this Reformation pair of wedges, or this Meow patent leather mini dress, that's to me a more approachable and maybe realistic version of the trend. It feels like one of those things that is most likely a fad, but people are having fun with it. They think it's expressive. And honestly, I'm just saying more power to you. But I've definitely seen people wearing the Skims bathing suits, for example. So this whole idea that it had to be separated from reality is not so far-fetched. In recent times, fashion has just gotten more exaggerated, and I think it's creative. I think it's fun to see everything that it comes up with. But, is it realistic in the way that people dress? No. But what's wrong with a little bit of fantasy? Next up, we have the sheer trend, which is so funny because when I did my recap last year, sheer was also part of it. We continue to see it on the runways of Nancy Doja Cat, the queen of lingerie as outerwear. We saw it at Prada with these nightgowns, spring 2023, at Tory Burch, shocking, I know. Laquan Smith, not so shocking. Overall, these designers were sending the message that, the body can be used as a form of rebellion. I think in light of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the attack on women's bodies, there's this sense of rebellion where women are just asserting their sexuality, asserting their flesh, and telling you, my body, my choice. I think it's also a bit of a middle finger moment to the objectification of women's bodies in general. And so I personally wouldn't expose it all just because, but I understand the vision. I see the vision and I'm down with the sentiment. And if you can't afford those high-end versions, you have Mango that's definitely been pushing out more sheer. We also have Gani that came out with this mesh embellished dress, and many other brands to name. Last but not least, we have Ruffles. And this might be the part where you're like, what the hell, Shells? Is that even a trend? Well, if you ask Fendi, Cindy Leon, or Carolina Herrera, I think they would say so. In general, it's just a maximalist like finishing. I think it's referring to flounces, frills, ruffles, sashes, trains, bows, any and everything that feels extra and that adds that touch of femininity to any look, similar to the rosette trend. As someone who embraces femininity, especially in fashion, I find the trend to be extremely fun and playful. It's all about creativity. Is it frivolous? Sure, but fashion can be. I definitely could see myself wearing this Ferragamo dress. It's so gorgeous, not just with the ombre color, but also this beautiful shoulder detail that descends into this trail. I think it adds just that je ne sais quoi that makes it magic. You also have these retrofit party dresses. They're so fun, so fluid, so easygoing. Can easily transition from a daytime activity to a nighttime. You have Ronnie Cobo over there, Miguel Coronel, or even Saint Laurent that put it in front of a skirt, and it just added that sex appeal that you didn't even know it needed. All in all, this is a trend I could get behind. And again, it's not so much a trend as something that's just always existed. But again, brands always add a little some extra to it. And boom, there you have it. Ruffles are the next big summer 2023 trend. There you have it, the 6 biggest summer 2023 fashion trends. Let me know if there is any that you are loving right now that you have already worn. Maybe send us some photos on Instagram of the ways you've incorporated cargo pants or rosettes into your everyday. Or I want to hear your thoughts, y'all. Let's get into it. I definitely will be wearing and experimenting more with cargo pants. Definitely the ruffles. Definitely the rosettes. Alien Barbie, I might wear a silver pair of wedges here, a little silver clutch there, a metallic dress here and there. It's fun to always experiment with trends, but I always tell myself that personal style comes first. Those can inform silhouettes that you maybe weren't familiar with, but ultimately it's about the joy of dressing up and the creativity in putting outfits together. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and with that said, I'll see you guys next time.